Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome to the Southern Wing of the Stink Bug Works, that super secret research and development division of Dr. Jet Laboratories, where we sit around all day and we invent things and we make stuff. Although today the phone rings and I've got to go do this, and I go out here and I look at this and that's not done, and then the motor, it looks almost done. There's a couple of rough spots on it. There didn't used to be a couple of rough spots, but I had it all nicely sanded and I shot a light coat of primer on it. And what I did not realize is there was a couple of areas where my light sanding went through the protective epoxy coating, and the paint landed directly on the foam, and the foam said, "Oh no, it's paint," and started to melt and fizzle. I'm melting. So I had to pick all that out, and then I mixed up some really dry Cabosil and epoxy, and really dry so it would sand easy and it wouldn't weigh much. And so I mixed up some and I put it in here, and yeah, there's a couple of places where I got to take it down, but I'm using that automotive primer, and that stuff builds up if you put a couple of coats on it. So these little seams between epoxy Cabosil and then the existing fiberglass or carbon fiber veil skin. So we'll take care of that. But there's your motor. It's gone from a drawing on a piece of paper to this. This hole here, boy, I got something in my throat. This hole here will get filled up with a knurled aluminum rod that's threaded M3. So this side, you won't see anything, and this side will just have this hole with this M3 screw in it. So there you go. Although I think I'll put a water pickup on here. I'm not sure where I will route it. I may route it down along the bottom here, and just put a notch in here and have it come out here to a hose in the transom. We'll have to see. The whole point of this, and doing this before I do anything else, this haul, up until yesterday, had nothing done to it other than holes drilled for the flood chamber. I mean, it was as it came from Oliver. I have since gone in and put in a transom doubler, and what I did is I used the really dry epoxy Cabosil mix, and I put a carbon fiber doubler, but I used a lot of this epoxy Cabosil mix between the doubler and the transom wall to give some depth, because my plan is to thread the whole depth and into that carbon fiber plate with the M2.5. I think M3, well, here, let's take a closer look. I think M3 going through this small face might be cutting out more material than I really need to cut, because we all know that when you cut it, the edges you lose a little strength on the edges because you get the burrs, and you got to sand those off. And so I'm going to go M2.5 rather than that. And I stood this, 16th epoxy doubler off quite a bit with this big blob of epoxy and Cabosil. So this will mount down here fairly low. It'll mount fairly low in this whole assembly. About like that. And then, and only then, can I put in the rest of the components and see where this gets glued down. I'm thinking it's going to have to go up forward quite a bit because I'm going to use what did I decide on? Did I decide on that 1400 milliamp, or was I going to double them up for 28? I think that's what I was going to do. I was going to put two 1400s in here for 28, for a total of 2800. So I'll get some runtime. We'll just have to see. We'll just have to see, because these don't come with any instructions, boys and girls. You got to make it up as you go along. Until next time.